Hi, the upcoming video is one of our members only lesson and we're giving this away for free. If you're interested to access the full library, then you can become a member by clicking the join button below or the link in the description. Hi, welcome back. In this lesson, we are going to discuss the three types of speed in animation. So we'll discuss acceleration, we'll discuss maintaining speed, and we will also discuss deceleration. So let's start with an analogy. Let us say you are driving a car. At the start, the car is at rest. It's not moving, right? The car is off. And to get it to move, you need to turn on the engines and hit the gas. And what happens is that the car doesn't move to top speed immediately. It doesn't like abruptly like move forward, right? It slowly builds up speed from slow to fast. So you call this building up of speed acceleration. And at some point, you don't want to keep on accelerating, right? Because the car would be now too fast for you to control. And you might hit a wall or another car, and you don't want that, right? So eventually, you would want to stop accelerating and just maintain speed. And once you have reached your destination, you would want to stop, right? So you hit the brakes. And the way physics work is that when you hit the brakes, the car doesn't stop right then and there, right? When you hit the brakes, the car would gradually slow down until it comes to a full stop. You call this slowing down as deceleration. In animation, it's also composed of these types of speed. So you start with accelerating and then maintaining speed and then decelerating. It's also true for any kind of movement. So let's say this movement. You start any movement with a resting position. And the moment you try to move, you accelerate first. And at some point, you maintain speed. And when you settle to a certain pose, you decelerate until you come to a full stop. So how do you convey that something is fast or slow in animation? It's all in the spacing. The spacing refers to the difference between the frames. So for example, this is frame 1. We skip a frame because we're animating on 2s. And then this is frame 3. If the difference or the spacing is big, then it will seem like it's fast. Now for frame 3, let's bring this closer to frame 1. So if the spacing is small, then it would seem like it's slow because from frame 1 to frame 3, there's not much difference. Now, how do we convey accelerating, maintaining speed, or decelerating? It's all in the progression of the spacing in the sequence of the frames. To convey acceleration, we need the spacing to gradually increase, from small spacing to big spacing. So let's try that. So we're going to animate straight ahead, and let's animate this circle from left to right. So this is the beginning of the action. This is at rest. Let's skip a frame and create a new frame. So we don't want to abruptly go fast. We want to build up speed. So the next frame should only have a small spacing. Now let's skip a frame and again create a new frame. And from here, we can apply the rule for acceleration, which is to double the previous spacing. And then let's create a frame. And again, let's double the previous spacing. And with this, you'll notice that the spacing is now gradually increasing. Then let's preview this. To maintain speed, we need the spacing to be the same throughout the animation. So what we can do is use the spacing as the previous frame. So let's try that. This is our first frame. Let's skip a frame and create a new frame. And since we have nothing to base this on, let's just use any spacing. Now let's skip a frame and create a new frame. Now we have something to base the spacing on. Let's just use the same spacing. Then skip a frame and let's use again the previous spacing. And let's continue on with this. This is the result. To convey deceleration, we need the spacing to gradually decrease. We can use the rule to cut into half the previous spacing and use that. So let's try. This is our first frame. Then let's skip a frame and create a new frame. Again, since we have nothing to base this on, let's just use any spacing. I'm going to use a big spacing so that I have a lot to divide on. Now let's skip a frame and again, create a new frame. Now I'm going to cut to half the previous spacing. So now it will be here. Then let's skip a frame and create a new frame. And again, let's cut to half the spacing. And let's continue on with this. This is the result. Just to recap, to accelerate, we can double the spacing of the previous frame. To maintain speed, we can keep the spacing the same throughout the whole animation. To decelerate, we can cut to half the spacing of the previous frame. If you're interested to learn how to apply acceleration, maintaining speed, and deceleration to your animations, then you can join our membership. We have lessons there where I have demonstrated how to apply those concepts on a sword moving, and there's also a lesson where I have applied it to eye movements. Become a member and you'll have full access to the lesson library. Plus, if you're going to do the drills, we can give feedback on it. Click the join button below or click this link to learn more.